ਸਾਹਿਬ ਜੀ ਇੱਕ ਓੰਕਾਰ ਸਤ ਨਾਮ ਕਰਤਾ ਪੁਰਖ ਨਿਰਭਉ ਨਿਰਵੈਰ ਅਕਾਲ ਮੂਰਤ ਅਜੂਨੀ ਸੈਭੰ ਗੁਰ ਪ੍ਰਸਾਦ ਜਪ ਆਦ ਸੱਚ ਜੁਗਾਦ ਸੱਚ ਹੈ ਵੀ ਸੱਚ ਨਾਨਕ ਹੋਸੀ ਵੀ ਸੱਚ ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ 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 ਗੁਰੂ ਰੂਪ ਗੁਰੂ ਪਿਆਰੇ ਗੁਰੂ ਸਵਾਰੀ ਸਾਧ ਸੰਗਤ ਜੀ ਆਪ ਸਭ ਮਾਈ ਭਾਈ ਧੰਨ ਸਤਿਗੁਰੂ ਗ੍ਰੰਥ ਸਾਹਿਬ ਜੀ ਮਹਾਰਾਜ ਸੱਚੇ ਪਾਤਸ਼ਾਹ ਜਿਨ੍ਹਾਂ ਦੀ ਛਤਰ ਛਾਇਆ ਹੇਠ ਸਭ ਮਾਈ ਭਾਈ ਜੁੜ ਕੇ ਬੈਠੇ ਹੋ। ਆਓ ਸਭ ਗੁਰੂ ਸਾਹਿਬ ਜੀ ਦਾ ਧਿਆਨ ਕਰਕੇ ਫਤਿਹ ਬੁਲਾਈਏ। ਗੁਰੂ ਸਾਹਿਬ ਜੀ ਸੀਸਾਂ ਦੇਣ, ਕਿਰਪਾ ਕਰਨ, ਮਿਹਰਾਂ ਕਰਨ, ਜੋ ਵੀ ਮਹਾਰਾਜ ਕਿਰਪਾ ਕਰਕੇ ਰਹਿਮਤਾਂ ਕਰਕੇ ਕਥਾ ਬਖਸ਼ਣਗੇ, ਸਾਡੇ ਜੀਵਨ ਨੂੰ ਸੇਧ ਦੇਣ ਵਾਲੀ ਬਣੇ। ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਕਾ ਖਾਲਸਾ ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਕੀ ਫਤਿਹ। ਸੋ ਗੁਰੂ ਪਿਆਰੀ ਗੁਰੂ ਰੂਪ ਸਾਧ ਸੰਗਤ ਜੀ, we're at the 7th Hukam of keeping at all times a strict discipline and observation over the discipline of the Punj Kakaar. We've heard so far about Ges and also Kanga. Now we're at Kada and Kachera. Hopefully Satguru Maharaj Kirpa Khan we can get both covered today, and then next week on to Kirpan. So Guru Rup Sadh Sangat Ji, Kada Tija Kakar, it must be made of iron. The Kada cannot be made of, well, let me start again. Some people choose to wear a gold Kada, silver Kada or copper Kada. Some people do for Ayurvedic medicinal benefits, for example the copper Kada. That's all well and good, wear whatever else you want to, but for it to be a kakar, it must be made of sablo. Otherwise a gold Kada is not really sablo. It's not a kakar because of the reason why we have the Kada. We'll move on to that later. So it must be of sablo. Now for those who don't know what sablo is, it's iron. Sometimes with iron they do mix other stuff just to make it stronger, to strengthen it, but iron that must be able to rust, that is sarvlo. So it must be made of iron. The minimum requirement for kada is 1 kada you must have on your hand, preferably your right hand or even your left hand. There's no rate on the number of kada you can wear. You may remember sometimes Nihang Singh, who comes here, he normally distracts me because of the number of kada he's wearing. So Nihang Singhs tend to wear normally more. Why? Because Guru Ki Fauj was originally Nihang Singhs, and they got involved in battle more than anyone else. And even though a single kada is a great line of defense, they wore more kada because the more kada they had on, the less chance they had of having their arm cut off in battle. So minimum requirement is one kada. If you choose to wear more than one, you may do. Now a lot of people wear, as time goes on, what we tend to do is we tend to minimalize everything. Some people wear kada that's like the size of I don't know, 4 or 5 mil copper wire. For me, it's not a kada. I'll show you what kada I wear. I sleep with this, I bathe with this. When I die, it's going to go with me. That's my kada. And on my right hand, the kada I wear is that thick. Now a kada must be of a minimum thickness where if somebody does attack you, it doesn't snap, crack, or even say chip away and break. So kada number 1 must be iron, minimum number 1. Another thing, keep your kada clean at all times. Before Maharaj said in Kirpa and I came to Maharaj's fold, I was just a normal Joe. And we don't really tend to wash our hands a lot, whether we're eating or we're not eating. But Guru's Rehat is we must keep our hands. Sukcham is a very big factor, very big part in Gursikhi. So now when we eat, what do? We wash our hands. It takes only a couple of seconds more to wash our kada as well. When we go to the bathroom, to the toilet, again, what do? We come out, we wash our hands, and what we forget to wash is the kada. I'm not saying you're doing that, I'm just talking in general. So the kada manj ke rakhna, keep it clean at all times. It is a kakar, so there is a great deal of respect for it. If you've been to the bathroom and you've come out and washed your hands, what are you still carrying on the kada? All the bacteria and germs. And then we go on to say Maharaj's tabia. Maharaj Bhaksham, that I don't say this in the wrong way. I see Granthi Singhs. None of these go Sikhs. No. I see Granthi Singhs come out the toilet and they wash their hands, they come straight, sit here on Maharaj's tabia. Your hands may be clean, but your kada isn't clean, and the utmost respect for Guru Sahib Ji is sitting on tabia with Sukcham. And then our kada is touching Maharaj's ang, Maharaj's bastar. Even if you're not coming to sit on Maharaj's tabia, it's kind of a horrible idea to have a kada where what you've just been to the toilet with is still on you. So, manj ke rakhna kada. Kedda manj ke rakhna? Well, with fairy of course, or whatever hand wash. But once a month, once a week, twice a month, whatever you can do. If you can get some sand doesn't cost a great deal to buy. Just get a handful of sand, hold your kada in one hand, add a bit of fairy to it if it makes you feel any better. Gilla karke, sand in here, edda manj lo. Tada kada manja janda. So it keeps your kada clean. Now your kada, it must be complete. We heard last week about the kanga must be complete. Likewise, the kada must be complete. Why? If it's got any cracks or chips, especially on the underside, what you'll notice, if you have noticed this, is sometimes you get a pulling sensation on your wrist or on your forearm. And what that chip or that crack in the kada is doing is removing your case from your arm. Again, we heard in the very first installment of this 7th Hukam about case, whether it's the case on the head or whether it's the room on any part of our body, as for that matter, beadbi nahi karni. Our case, our room must be kept intact at all times. Anyone who tells you other than that or different to that, or adi mandi mat ladare, because they're not keeping rehat as prescribed by Guru Sahib Ji themselves. You get a lot of people that sit on stage and they'll tell you, Gyani Gyan Singh Ji wrote a book called Panth Prakash, Antwari Gur Khalsa. His writings are known the Sikh world over. Very respected writer, very respected historian and author, yeah? Now what he writes is that Guru Gobind Singh Ji Maharaj ate akadiyan dodiyan in the Machiwada jungle. He wrote Maharaj also ate a gola of peen. Why did he write that? Because he ate peen himself. The point I'm trying to make is Maharaj didn't eat peen, by the way, but he writes it. Why? Because that's the life he led. Now for me, namaskar hai apne Gyani Gyan Singh Ji nu. Why? Siril Abidwan, a very good author as well. My point is, when people sit here, if they're not living up to it, they'll try to find a way of justifying it. Hence why Gyan Singh ji wrote that. So jo kadaya manj ke rakhna must be of sar below, must be complete. Now this is a special benti to those things that wear more than one kada around your arm. There is no need to wear more than one kada. If you're going into battle and you're going to wear more than one kada, by all means. When you're wearing more than one kada, when they're banging with each other, again, they're cutting the case, they're cutting the Roma di beadbi ho rahi hai. So, yeah, like we said, not a gold one. Gold may be expensive, but in Guru Kar, what's of real value is sar below the kada. The benefits of that's the drirh. That's what we must do with the kada. Now, the benefits of the kada, of it being sar below, I come across many people that were lacking in iron when they started wearing sar below kada and even eating out of sar below utensils. They didn't have to take iron medication anymore. Their iron deficiency was met. Guru Maharaj can see through all time, and in today's day, if there's a big lack in a lot of humans, is iron. We're lacking a lot of iron. By wearing the sar below kada, you're transferring on a molecular level iron into your blood. When you're eating out of utensils that are sar below, again, you're transferring iron into your blood, which otherwise you'd have to source, whether through taking ferrous sulfate or ferrous fumarate or whatever tablets you have to take. Now, we've heard how it protects in battle. That's the defensive quality of it. There is an offensive quality of it. Now, I must stress this very, very quickly, because I want to move on to Kachera as well, that we have this fear that we don't want to talk about anything that even has the word violent in it, let alone the action in it. Gurmukha, the reality of it is, violence isn't going to send you a warning before it comes and bears upon us. Violence, the marg of a Gursikh is Sant Sipahi. There's no question in that. A Gursikh must be complete in both of Santpurna, which is the spiritual part. Santpurna with Tahi, if you got Spypurna, which is the warrior's part. If you haven't got the warrior's part, anyone can come and grab you by the ear and take you where they want to take you. So, the offensive side of it, it's a very good weapon to have at hand should the time need it. Somebody tries attacking you, like I said, the natural reaction for us is to put the hand up. I don't know if you've experienced it, but when we're messing around with our friends, a lot of the times our friends will get hurt. Why? Because they'll come and clash with this. If you go to smack anyone, we're talking about the defensive side of it, this, due to gravitational force, is going to pull to the end of your hand. And that's the part that's going to normally come into contact with whoever you're coming into contact with. Where this hits, it's going to cause damage that you don't want to feel. If it hits your jaw, it's going to break the jaw. Hits the eye socket, it's going to break the eye socket. If it hits the teeth, you're going to have teeth missing. If it hits the skull, the person's going to be knocked out, they're going to have a fractured skull. Now, as I was saying before, a lot of our people, they sometimes they come and say to me that, Bhai, we shouldn't talk too much about battle or war or even fighting in Katha. What can I say to those people? This religion, Sikhi, it was born from the tikhi tar of a talwar. This religion was born out of so much violence. Violence, yes, is wrong. If you're going to press someone, you're going to bully someone, you're going to hurt someone, you're going to pick on someone, someone's weaker than you and you're going to beat them just for the hell of you being stronger than them. That's not the violence I'm on about. I'm on about the violent act that you have to then adopt in order for your own safety. When Guru Gobind Singh Sahib Ji Maharaj was towards Dakhan, some of the followers of Kabir Sahib Ji came to see Maharaj. And they said to Maharaj, that what is this you've started off? You've made all your followers bear arms. You give them training in Shastra Vidya and Jang Vidya. What is this? We're supposed to lead a very peaceful life. Maybe he didn't realize who he was talking to. He's talking to the master of the universe. They said that They said, Maharaj, you know the highest living of all is a peaceful living, a non-violent living. Guru Gobind Singh Sahib Ji Maharaj said that yes, the highest living of all is a peaceful living, is a non-violent living, but higher still is the use, the adoption of violence in order to preserve that peaceful living. You will never read of any jang that Maharaj carried out where they were the offender. It was always in defense, and jit vi tan Satguru Gobind Singh Sahib Ji Maharaj, Satguru Har Gobind Sahib Ji Maharaj every time hoi. Now Maharaj said our siddhant to those Bhagats of those followers of Bhagat Kabir Ji, Maharaj said, we Gurmukh, our siddhant, our discipline, our way is this. Je koi thade sar de vich roda mare hai na, Maharaj said, if someone strikes you in the head with a stone, ode sar ch patthar maro in return. None of this Gandhi stuff, an eye for an eye makes the whole world blind. Yes, somebody takes your eye, you stay blind. Don't just keep on worrying about the other people. This is not Gurmat Siddhant. Maharaj says, someone has struck you. Look, every single human being has the right, God-given right, Guru-given right to walk on this planet without even someone as much as poking you. Let alone punching you, kicking you, beating you, oppressing you, strangling you, raping you, killing you. No one has a right to do that. Should anyone ever adopt that state of mind where they think they can do that to someone, then Gurmukh Satguru Granth Sahib Ji Maharaj is witness to this. We are being given every single right to defend yourself by whatever means possible. Your life is your first priority. Forget what the world thinks, forget what society thinks. So Guru Gobind Singh Ji Maharaj says, our siddhant is this. If somebody strikes you in the head with a stone, pick up a slab and smash them in the face. They'll know next time I saw the world will know not to pick on weak people. Those are the benefits. Now the spiritual side. Gurmukha, look, if we get arrested, they put us in handcuffs, yeah? Maharaj kehte pehlo hi dhyan rakhyo, first keep your mind focused in a way such that you don't live a life as such where you end up doing things and then in the end, forget the end, just talk about the now. Where even in the now you end up in handcuffs. When you die, Maharaj says, don't live a life, such a life, where then the angel of death comes and wraps you up in chains, ties you up and takes you, for you to have to answer for what you've done. So Guru Sahib Wallo, the difference between these handcuffs and the ones the police put on you, the ones the police put on you, they put a link in the middle. Maharaj says, I put no link. Adityan, the link rakhyo, that these hands, where the case, after keeping them and putting amrit in them, causes the head to belong to Guru Sahib. These hands, once they've got the kada on them, they belong to Guru Sahib. Maharaj ne haath kaad ke rakh dete, Maharaj has tied these hands up. Now, these hands, we must be careful. And remember, if Guru Sahib Ji has already put the kadiyan on us, that these do not end up going anywhere wrong. A man should see every single woman as his sister, as his daughter, as his mother. His hand must never venture towards another woman. And you know in what sense I mean. A man must remember that these hands are for Guru Seva, are for Kirt Kamai, not to go and grab somebody weaker than you, bash the living daylights at them and rob them. These hands are not for you, not for me, not for anyone to sign on the dotted line where you're causing fraud, where you're ripping people off. That's why Maharaj says, Maharaj says, I've already tied your hands together. If you live with your focus and your attention that my hands are already tied from Guru Sahib Ji, then it will stop us from doing half the things that we do in this life. So Gurmukha, with this kada in my hand, there's nothing I can do without my arm being, my wrist being in the kada. If I have to scratch my head, my wrist is still in the kada. If I have to eat my food, my ishnan karna, my bani parni. Whatever I'm doing in life, my wrist is always at the center of this kada. As my wrist is at the center of this kada, Gurmukh, our man must remain at the center of the kada of Gurmat. Our man must never, just as my hand can't go anywhere without this kada, our mind must at all times venture throughout life, remaining within the ring of Gurmat. Now this kada is made of sarb. If we live a life where our man never ventures out of that ring of Gurmukh, that ring, it becomes like a killa for you, like a castle made out of metal, out of sarb. Then nothing in this universe, nothing in this world can ruin you spiritually. Now sometimes people say to me, but what were those people that became shaheed? Gurmukh Shaheedi is the biggest gift of all. Biggest gift of all. When the time comes and I die, there's no guarantee I'm going to Sachkhand. And I'll tell you why. Until I'm not complete in Gurmat, until I've not reached the Atmic stage, I am not going to Sachkhand. Should I live a few more lives and be complete in Gurmat, and I get to Sachkhand, it still takes time. Guru Sahib teaches us this. Those people that give that sacrifice their life in the love of Guru Shaheed, like releasing an arrow from one end and within just a fraction of a second it hits its target, just like that Shaheeds get to Sachkhand so quickly that there is nothing else that can compare to it, nothing else that is parallel to it. Now, so when people say we rehat vich rehnde haan, Gurmat vich rehnde haan, people end up suffering, people end up getting killed. There's a lot of deep, that's a subject for another day. The focus is to live our lives, keep our man within the kada of Gurmat within inside us, so we don't venture out of Gurmat and we don't end up doing those things that are going to be perilous to us later on. That becomes a Sarblo ring within us, like the Sarblo castle that we just heard of. Now if at any time, I can't think of a time, I can understand that sometimes, Sutya Pya Kanga comes out of our case. Even in schools these days, they get kids to wear armbands over their kada, so they're never separate from their kada. If you should have to remove your kada for any reason, I don't know, medical reason, maybe going for an operation, then you can move from one arm to the other. If for any reason at this moment I can't think of a reason where you would have to be separate from your kada, but if you do become separate from your kada, then Gurmukh, the Tankha, the Hukam of Guru Sahib Ji is one Sri Japji Sahib Ji da part, then Ardas in front of Maharaj. The other day, what day was it? It was yesterday. And I didn't have this Siri Sahib on, I had another Siri Sahib on. I went to the Samagam in Pinsato. When I finished from there, I went to sit in the car. And when I went to sit in the car, what happened was my gatra wasn't tight enough around my Siri Sahib. And my Siri Sahib mein to visar gayi si. And before I could eat or drink anything after that, I did one Japji Sahib Ji da part, and then Ardas in Maharaj's charan. Maharaj mein to pull ho gaya, I should have been more aware. Savdhan mein nahi raha. Please forgive me for this. So the reason why I've shared that with you, doesn't matter when throughout the day, je kada visar jave, Guru Sahib Ji de Hukamnamya anusar, ek Japji Sahib, and then Ardas, obviously put the kadam straight away. And then obviously keep more Savdhan over our kakars. Now, Gurmukh, I was hoping to move on to Kachera today as well, but by the sounds of things, just attempt it anyway. Chalo Maharaj kirpa karo. So now the fourth kakar is Kachera. A Kachera is one of a person's honor. It's a sign of honor. I'm going to move on to the honor side of the aspect of it in a little while. I'm going to quickly run through the musts just before we run out of time. It must be white, must be to knee length. Some of our Singhs I see these days, they're wearing just below the waist. No one's going to stop us, but who are we kidding? We're only kidding ourselves. Guru di Rehat nahi hai. I wear my Kachera down to my knee. When I sit down, it comes up 4 or 5 inches. Hence why. So Singh ne bana paya, when they put the Kachera down to their knee, bend there, it doesn't come past more than about 1/3 of the way up. Not all the way, but 1/3 of the way past your knee. It must be white, must be to knee length, must be rebdar. Now rebdar means, Bibiya will know this, when you put your salwar on and you tie your nala, you see all those pleats that come in it? That's rebdar. A Kachera must not be skin tight like boxer shorts or any other kind of underwear. No, if your waist is about this much, your Kachera must be at least this big long. So when you've tied it, nala kas ke ban liya, it causes a rib all the way around it, tight around the knees. Why? We're living in a time where people don't really pay much attention to honor. If we go back just about 60, 70 years, you'll see women, you'll see films of those times, women dressed fully up to here with a collar around their neck, arms all the way down to here, their dresses all the way down to the ankles. Were those women backwards? Absolutely not. They were women of a very high standard. So Kachera for males especially, Bibiya, they wear suits, and even if they wear bana, they wear pajami with it. But for the bandit, for the purk, your Kachera must not be skin tight, must not be, forget skin tight, must not even be tight, it must be a nice baggy Kachera at all times. Preserve yourself. Must have a nala, not any of this elastic stuff. Thankfully there are no elastic stuff. There are some people, some sharafti people that try to introduce elastic wali Kachera. No, must be nala. Why? When we tie, look, it's a spiritual path. It's a spiritual jivan that we're following. It's not one that's devoid of spirituality. Every single time, a point juncture, we must introduce spirituality and keep an eye on it. ਜਦੋਂ ਆਪਾਂ Kachera ban ke rakhida, we're tying our honor in place. Should a man fall from that high standard, overcome by whatever fluctuations of his mind have brought him down to the level where he's about to commit a lustful act, I'm not on about between man and woman, I'm on about between in a cheating aspect, in an adulterous aspect. When the hand goes to the Kachera, you know that you're untying your own path, your own honor. Must change your Kachera every single day at Ishnan Vela. When doing Ishnan, do not take your Kachera off. Actually, before I say this, there is no point at any time have we been given agya from Guru Sahib. Forget what Pracharak say, from Guru Sahib, that we can be without our Kachera. Some people think it's okay to take it off and hang it up at Ishnan Vela. Absolutely not. Kachera visar gaya. Look, in the worldly way, forget having Ishnan naked, you can walk down the road naked, who cares? But in the spiritual part, when you're having a bath, look, there's the unseen world as well. That person who makes no attempt to preserve their own honor whilst alive, why should Guru then preserve their honor when they're dead? That person who makes no attempt to keep themselves covered whilst alive, then why should Guru cover what we have done in this life once we are dead? The Kachera has great meaning to our own honor. So whilst having a bath, it must be on your tongue. When we go swimming as kids, I remember when we used to go swimming, we used to all bathe in our swimming trunks. It's no different to that. Bathe in the Kachera while taking it off. Only one leg must come out. That leg then goes into the new Kachera. Then the second leg must come out. Again, stopping you being visceral from your Kachera. I'm only going to be a few more moments, Gurmukh, another 4 or 5 minutes. Raat nu saun vele, again, sometimes we have to speak things that some people deem not necessary to speak in Sangat. Look, we all go to school, our kids go to school, they learn all sorts of subjects, they even go and graduate in fields that you wouldn't otherwise discuss here. Even at night time, your Kachera must not become separate from you. Kachera must stay on you at all times. What is our Gurmukh, don't anyone take this personally here, but on the large part of humanity, where do we learn from? TV? Where do we learn from? Society? Social media? There's practices out there that are beyond belief. I doubt you've probably heard of them. But I'll give you marriage, for example. I used to work on the doors, and the number of hen parties and stag parties I've seen held in clubs, whatnot. I'm not saying amongst Punjabis, but amongst a lot of people, there was a practice, whatever you've done up until that point, you're getting married tomorrow, you're forgotten about. What does that teach us? It's okay to go and have an affair just the night before you're about to get married. What does TV teach us? It glorifies cheating, extramarital affairs. That's what TV glorifies. What does society even tell us? You know, for men, amongst men, to go and cheat behind your back, they say, go on son, well done. You know, you got one over her. It's stupid. No. This is not an honourable life. It's a dishonourable life. When Guru Sahib Ji, we've heard about Kes, the spiritual side, Kanka, the spiritual side, the Kada, the spiritual side, how our wrist is in the Kada at all times, our man must always be in Gurmat. Gurmukha, this Kachera, if we can look at this as the one thing that will hide all of our sins and focus into that. Gurmukha, when we come to pass, Guru Maharaj keeps us covered whilst alive. They will not let us come uncovered once we die. During the British Raj, there was a Pathan. He was a police officer. He was in charge of the police. I've forgotten what the title is. Anyway, I beg your pardon, not in charge of the police. He was in charge of an army platoon. And what he sees a body coming down the river, and it was the body of a bibi. And what she had around it was a Kachera, but the other bastard had kind of came separate from her body. It had flown from wherever, it had come downstream from wherever. And what he did, he had some of the Pajdars pull the body out. He wasn't too aware of what the Sikh religion is and what the rate of Sikh religion is and what the quality of Sikh religion is. He had the body pulled out, and he said, cover the lady and we can bury her somewhere. And what the Sikh soldiers told him, they go, no, you don't need to bury her. This burial at sea, this Jal Pravah is called, is one way of, you can call having a funeral. And he said, but she's uncovered, she's been dishonoured. And the Sikhs told him, they go, no. They go, to you it may look like dishonour, but the fact that she's still got a Kachera, drirh Kachera, Guru Sahib Ji has covered her path in this life. Now that she's dead, Guru Sahib Ji will keep her path covered in the afterlife. That Pathan, he became so prabhavat. From that, he started learning about Sikhi. Having learnt about Sikhi, he went to Sri Harmandir Sahib, took darshan of Maharaj, and he took Amrit with his whole family. Next week on the 14th is Khalsa Sirjana Divas. So I don't think I'll be meeting you before then. Whoever's mind is made up, or whoever's still in two minds, it's the opportunity. It's in hand. Let's not let it go. Next week is Khalsa Sirjana Divas, the birth of the Khalsa, otherwise known. There's going to be an Amrit Sanchar. I'm not too sure what the listing here is, but at South Hall, it's going to be on the 14th, I believe, on the 13th, I beg your pardon, at Park Avenue. So like that Pathan who went to Sri Harmandir Sahib and he took Amrit, Gurmukha, let's us get prabhavat. And if our minds are still just that much far away, it's not a big step. Do it das in front of Maharaj, attend the Amrit Sanchar, and let's join him to Guru Sahib Ji Jihad. If you, just 30 seconds more, if you become separate from your Kachera, so sakht is the tankha, and this is Punj Japji Sahib Ji de part, you must then go to Punj Singh and tell what you've done. They then do ardas in front of Maharaj. Because when men fall, the lust aspect of a human being is the one part man falls again and again, and even great men have fallen. Maharaj has tied that up and said, Adi Pat Adi Hatrakyo, in that respect. So Gurmukha, that brings us to the end of this week's Diwan. A very quick Pulna Chukka di Khema. Thanks to Tan Satguru Sache Paatshah Maharaj Satguru Granth Sahib Ji. Thanks to you, Guru Pyari Sadh Sangat Ji. Thanks to Jagdeep Singh who takes care of the social media side of it. Thanks a million to these Granthi Singhs, these pyare. They have never ever once ever. In fact, they say we sent to 10 minute lag juge koi gal nahi. Maharaj inna nu jiunde vaste rakhan, because normally they koor ke dekhte hunde bhi they start coughing behind here, or they start saying Vaheguru Pama Vaheguru, sitting all day long, but they'll definitely say that. But these Gurmukh pyare, my brothers, I've got so much love for them. Thanks to them. It's their time that I've taken up, and thanks to you, Guru Pyari Sat Sangat Ji, because I've taken another 10 minutes, well, 7 minutes of your time. So till next week again, when we will hear the rest of the Kirpan, Tan Siri Sahib. Maharaj Sache Paatshah dhyan karke Gurfateh bulaiye. Vaheguru Ji ka Khalsa, Vaheguru Ji ki Fateh.